Alright, so this test is going to show you how to create a test. So what you're going to do is you're going to log in. When you get to your login page, what you're going to do is you're going to click on your Create New Test. You're going to give your test a title, and you're going to assign it a subject. It may seem like you don't need to just to save time, but I would suggest it, especially when you get your mini tests together, so you want to keep it organized. Set your minimum grade level, your maximum grade level, and a time limit. I try to keep them at none just because I don't know how long they'll take, and I'd hate to set it at 30 and a kid needed 35 minutes, and so it would cut them off. But you can put a time limit on you want. Here what you're going to do is, this is going to let you pick your type of options for the students. So do you want to use strikeout? Students can cross their answers out like this. They have A, B, C, and D. They can cross out an answer. Do you want to hide the question navigation bar so they can't go back and forth between? Do you want to hide answer choice letters? Randomized question order. I picked that one just so that the kid that's working next to another student will have a different question. So that one I try to always check. So they're not all working on the same question at the same time. And then I also check this just in case they ever need it. I try to always have the highlighter, notepad, and magnifier. Calculator is something you're going to want to decide for your individual test. Do you want them to use it or not for math? So I'm just going to leave calculator off. And then my answer viewing. Students may view answers after completing test. Students may never view answers or scores. Students may never view answers, or student may view answers after the test is closed. I try to pick this one just because I don't want them to have it closed but someone else is still taking it when they finish. So I try to get that. Then you click submit and you're ready for your first part. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to pick a question. How you do that is you click on add new and you have these options. Section, that's going to be a different video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click add question, and then I'm going to pick the type that I want. If you're unsure what any of these mean, watch one of our videos online that is the sample test. And the sample test will go through every single example of all these options except for instructions only. So I'm just going to pick multiple choice, multiple select, and I'm just going to type a question in. And then what I'm going to do is my answer option, we're going to do images at a later point, but it just means instead of typing in A, B, and C, it's going to have you put pictures in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my answers in. And so now what you get to do is you get to tell it, since say multiple select, how many options are true. So the options I'm going to say are 1, 2, 3, and 4. They can pick all 5 if they need to, but I'm just going to say it's these 4. This is probably the most important part, is your scoring type. You need to give it a point value. I'm going to say it's 4 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 options. And now you need to give it its scoring type. This perfect response means they have to get everything right. They'll have to check this, 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 and not check that, and they get 4 points. What that means is if they pick these 1, 2, 3, but they leave this out, they're actually going to get 0 points. So if you don't want that, if you want them to get partial credit, there's some options. The first option is what's called additive with negation. So this means 4 points each. That would be 4 points, 8, 12, 16. So I'm just going to drop that number down to 1. So it's going to be 1 point each, so 1, 2, 3, 4. But what's nice about the negation is they get a point for every correct one. So here they'd get 3 points for 1, 2, 3. And if they pick the wrong answer, it's actually going to subtract. That's that negation. So they get 3 positive, 1 negative. So they'd actually get 2 points on this problem. So it really discourages them from just selecting all of the correct answers. Your other option, and I'd suggest only use this if you're comfortable with it, is advanced scoring. So what that means is you're going to give it conditions or rules, just like you do for computer programming. If all the choices are correct, so they picked every single one of these, and it was correct, you would tell it how many points they would get. So I'm going to say they would earn 4. Otherwise, and here you're going to give it some rules. Otherwise, if they selected all 5 and they got, well actually all 5, they would get all of them correct. So if they selected 4, but only 3 are correct. So what does that look like? They selected 3, they selected 4, but they only got these 3 correct, but they still got 1 wrong. You can give them a point. So I can say it's going to be worth 3. If you remember with our negation, this would have been 3, negative 1, so they've got 2. But I can say, well, they tried hard, so I'm going to say it's 3 points. But then I need to give it another rule, because what would happen if they picked this? What if they got 3 right, or they picked 3, but they only got 2 correct? So it looks like this. They picked 3, 1, 2, and 3, but they only had these 2 correct. Well, should that also be 3 points, or should it be less? So that's what you're going to have to do. I'm going to say it's also going to be 3. But what if they picked 3 correct, but they picked 3 but they only got 1? Well, that means it's not going to happen with this, so I'm going to add another option just to show us. I hope it's okay I'm using her. So what if I did this? I pick 3, 1, 2, 3, but only 1 is correct. Now I have to decide how much is that worth. I got more wrong than right, so should it be worth 1? Should it be worth 0? So I have to pick. So I'm actually going to have to think of all of these scenarios. So I'm going to say that's worth only 1. Now what if we have this? These are all my rules. So it's going to check, did this happen first? Then it's going to say, did this, this, this. If I don't have a rule set up, so I don't have this, what if they pick 2 and 2 are correct? So they pick these 2, 1, 2. But I don't have a rule set up for that. That means it's going to give it 0 points, because that's my otherwise, which I don't think is fair. They got 2 out of 4, so I think that should be 2 points. But since I forgot that rule, it's not going to give them any, because it just does exactly what you tell it. So when you're done with your question, you just click Save Question, and it goes on. But here, oh, I didn't want to have that advanced scoring, so I'm going to go back to this edit. I scroll down to scoring type, and I'm just going to do that additive with negation. So that means everyone they get right, they get a point. Everyone they get wrong, they get a negative. So I'm going to use that additive with negation scoring. So now I'm going to save my question. And I want to add another one. So I just come up here, click Add Question, and I keep going. I picked a true and false, so I just give it true or false. And of course that's true, and I give it a point value. And then save question. And so I can just keep adding questions as I go along until my test is done.